Te voy a pasar la boca. Mi tele y Valenciaga me reciben en la entrada. Sí, like Americana. Y no te me hagas, que en cover de vivo tú has visto mi cara. No salgo de tu mente. Donde quiera que hayas escuchado mi gente. Ya no soy high, soy como el testarosa. Soy el que se la vive y también el que la goza. Cosa es la cosa, mami es la cosa. El que mira sufre y el que toca goza. I said I like it like that. 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 I'm just district in the chat. Certified, you know I got it. Drop the top and blow it red. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name? Hey, Cece. Hey, I'm gonna start talking in a couple minutes. I'm gonna let some people join, some more people join before I start talking. Made a couple M's. How are y'all doing? It's really rainy and cold outside today here, so we're stuck in the house. Naeem is asleep, so this is a good time for me to go ahead and do this live. I was thinking about doing it yesterday, but life. So, hey, thanks for joining. I wanted to talk about ingredients, and I say that that's a really broad spectrum. There's like, I could do like a 3-hour live about ingredients. But hey, thanks for joining. But I just wanted to talk in general. I'm not gonna go too specific into anything, but talk in general and give like I would say a guideline, but I'm gonna just say what I go by when I look at ingredients lists and what I really avoid. I'm living my best life. Y'all heard this song? I'm living my best life. I made a couple L's with my best friend. Turned all my L's into lessons. You see the whip pulling up, it's like skirt. Drink pulling up, it's like I'm trying to pull up some I'm living my best life. Can y'all hear me? Maybe I should shut this. Did you finish eating?
Yeah, and I used to.
Come here.
What?
Why does your face look like this? Come here. Come here. Say hey. Oh, they can't see your face. You got avocado all over your face. You should go wash that off. Go wash your face. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start. Let's see, where do I want to start? This is weird. It's weird going live for me because nobody's like actually talking to me. But okay, I did want to start with vitamins. I'm gonna start with vitamins. Okay, so the thing about vitamins when you see them in the ingredient list is oftentimes synthetic. And that's an issue for your body because your body's not really made to handle synthetic vitamins. So when you see like a milk and it says it's high in vitamin D, but that vitamin D is added, you can tell that it's added because you see it in the ingredient list. So it wasn't naturally occurring in that milk. And this goes for vegan and non-vegan foods because what I'm saying is it applies to all ingredients lists. But so when you see things like vitamins, like, oh, it's high in vitamin whatever. If it's in the ingredient list, it's not, that ain't the vitamin that you want. You want to see it in the little chart where it says it has this much percentage of this vitamin, this much percentage of this vitamin. You want to see it in that chart, and you want to see where it was sourced. You don't want to see it sourced as a synthetic vitamin.
Can I have nice too?
Mhm. But and the thing is, like, I see a lot of synthetic vitamins. Like, it's in regular non-vegan foods as well, but I see a lot of synthetic vitamins in vegan products, and it's like there is a way to be vegan and still be unhealthy. And eating overly processed foods with a bunch of synthetic vitamins and dyes and all this other stuff that really shouldn't be in food, that's the way to be unhealthy and be vegan. What was I gonna say? But yeah, okay, so that's vitamins. So to avoid that, don't buy anything with a bunch of vitamins in the ingredients list, because it's not going to be, first of all, the bioavailability of this vitamin is not really there because it is synthetically derived. And the thing is, our foods are made with all these nutrients, these micronutrients that help certain vitamins become absorbed. They work together. It's a synchronistic balance of vitamins and micronutrients that work together. And when you sit there and you create this vitamin and you inject it in this food, it's not going to be, the bioavailability isn't there. And the fact that it's synthetic is also going to cause a problem, because your body's not meant to absorb and utilize synthetic vitamins the way it is to do natural vitamins or naturally occurring vitamins and minerals. My music went off. So that's vitamins. I think I'm gonna keep it quick and short on that. So the reason that I'm big on all of this, what is the question? What was the question? I just got here. The question, it's not a question. I'm just talking about ingredients lists and foods, vegan foods and non-vegan foods. What I just got done saying was you want to stay away from ingredient lists that have thank you. You want to stay away from ingredients lists that have a lot of synthetic vitamins in the list. So really just any list with a vitamin in the ingredient list as opposed to the nutrition facts. And I'm really big on reading the ingredients list on everything, not just food, everything. Soaps, I would say cleaners, but we don't even really use a lot of cleaners. We use baking soda and vinegar and soap. So I guess I could say oils, any other, like, we're really minimalist in that aspect of, we don't have a bunch of body care products. We use African black soap, Castile soap. I'm talking to Instagram. You want to say hey? Castile soap and baking soda, and I make stuff with those things, and essential oils. Hey, thanks for joining. You gonna come say hey? You see that? I can't see you. I can't see your eyes anymore.
I can see you.
Okay, so go grab your book off the table and bring it here.
Yeah, I have one.
It's the math book. I'm vegan, and the difference between veganism is I don't consume any animal products. I don't consume, like, vegetarians, they don't consume meat.
Is this it?
Yeah. They consume eggs and cheese, but they don't consume meat. Now, I don't consume any of it. I make my cheeses, and I do different things to flavor foods to make them taste the way that I want them to taste. You about to use reading eggs?
Yep.
Okay, go out there with that. Here.
I know how to do this.
We'll do it later.
Okay.
What else was I gonna say? Okay, so we did vitamins. The next thing would be really anything that you don't understand when you read it. Like if it's not a basic ingredient, if it doesn't say sugar or, and you don't want sugar to be the first ingredient because that means that's the biggest ingredient in the food in the States anyway. If it says, I don't know, I need to pull up an ingredient list. Okay, so right now I'm looking at an ingredient list on the oatmeal for Quaker Oats, which is, I digress. Anyway, the first ingredient is whole grain rolled oats. Cool. That's what should be the first ingredient, right? Because it's oatmeal.
I need help.
Is it hard when I go to restaurants? It is. And I don't go out to eat that often as a result.
I didn't start over, but I don't know how this happened.
What is this?
Remix.
Okay.
How
did you get logged out?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. Here you go.
Thanks.
Stop logging out. And then all you gotta do is hit the password. You know your password. All you gotta do is put your password back in. It'll log you back in. Here you go. So we don't go out to eat that often. When we do go out to eat, it's in Atlanta. We live in Charleston. We don't go out to eat here because there's not a lot of organic vegan spots here. As a matter of fact, I don't think there is one at all. So we just don't. So yeah, there's that. That's eating vegan and eating organic is not easy, but for me, I want to guarantee that we can be the healthiest that we can be, and so I do what I have to do to make that work for us. So I was talking about the ingredients in oatmeal. Quaker Oats, regular oatmeal. Oat bran rolled oats is the first ingredient. That's what you want to be the first ingredient for something. If it's something like this, it is supposed to be just one thing, which really that should be the only ingredient. Period. That's it. It should just be oats in the ingredients list, but it's not. So, and that's why I'm talking about this. Real quick though, if you don't know, the first ingredient is always the ingredient that is the highest. So the last ingredient is the thing that you have the least amount of whatever it is in it. So the last ingredient on this is folic acid. Now remember when I said you don't want fake vitamins listed or synthetic vitamins. You don't want vitamins listed in the ingredients list because it indicates that it's most likely synthetic, and that's not good for your digestive and you being able to absorb and utilize that nutrient efficiently. So the first ingredient is oats. The next is salt. The next is gargone, which is a filler.
A picture of me and Tita.
It's a filler that I don't feel really any type of way about, so I'm going to skip that. And then you got, go put that back. You got calcium carbonate, which is, it says in parentheses, a thickener. It says in parentheses that it's a thickener. Hey! And it's just not needed because this is oatmeal. If you've ever bought oats in bulk that literally said only oats on it, you don't need a thickener in it. So the next thing it says is vitamins and minerals. Iron, niacinamide, thiamine, mononitrate. It's a bunch of stuff. These are all the vitamins and minerals that I was saying you want to avoid when you're looking at ingredients list. You don't want that in your ingredients list. So basically, I say all this to say is when you look at an ingredients list, it needs to be super basic. If you can't sit there and read the ingredients list and understand it completely, that's an issue. And it's not an issue necessarily for you. It's an issue necessarily for that food, because that food is not necessarily food because it has a bunch of stuff in it that shouldn't be there.
Hey, my name is Kari. I play in Remix every day and call Dida.
Okay. Okay, y'all. Okay. But so when you're looking at ingredients list, you want to stay, y'all like his announcement, you want to stay away from things that you don't quite understand. If it's not a basic ingredient, if you pick up a thing of noodles and it says a whole bunch of other stuff than wheat, because it's supposed to be wheat noodles, right? If you see anything other than wheat in those noodles, you don't want that. That's not, it's got a bunch of fillers, it's got a bunch of chemicals, it's got a bunch of whatever else, unnecessary stuff in it that shouldn't be there. No. Kyrie is quick to say, is this vegan and is this organic before he eats it? Because Kyrie has had allergies. And that's the reason that I am the way that I am now, because I had to start researching everything and finding, he was allergic to milk, eggs, yes she was, goat's milk and cow's milk, cheese, chicken, cinnamon. Like, it was a long list of stuff he was allergic to. So I had to look at the ingredients list on everything. And so once I started doing that, I started like researching what all these ingredients do and what is the point of them, because it wasn't food. I was like, what is this? Is it gonna make him break out? What is this? Is it gonna make his skin swell up? What is it? Why is it in here? And so I had to start researching a lot of that food, the food ingredients, and what I've come to, I do not vaccinate. I haven't made a post about it. I will eventually, but we don't vaccinate. We did with Kyrie. He reacted to it. We don't no more. Yep. So, what was I saying? So yeah, Kyrie had a rough 6 months. His first 6 months was pretty rough. But when I found out,
was our baby yesterday?
When I started looking into the ingredients list and everything, and changing my diet, because he was research is key. And when I started changing my diet to accommodate him, I started becoming more aware of these ingredients and these foods that aren't food. It's not food, and they're putting it in the food. And the thing is, it's crazy because over in Europe, a lot of these ingredients are banned. They're not allowed to be used in food. A lot of the stuff that we allow in the States is not legal in other states, and that's ridiculous considering we're supposed to be like this well-developed country and everything. But whatever, I digress on that. Hey, thank you for joining. But yeah, when I found out Kyrie was allergic to a bunch of stuff in the foods that wasn't actually food, and even some foods, I started researching the ingredients and everything, because I had to look at everything, and it just came down to the point where it's like, okay, so I get it. So what I need to do is, when I'm looking at ingredients list, if I don't know what this is off jump, when I look at this, if this is not a food ingredient, this should not be here. To put it real simple, it should not be there. The whole situation of what is allowed in our food and what isn't allowed in our food is ridiculous.
Can you put this on me?
What am I gonna do with this?
Put it on me.
You have one suspender.
I tried to put it on me while I was putting clothes because it was mine.
But what are you gonna do with it?
Just put it on.
How? Houseway. What are you talking? Go do your reading next. I'm not doing this with you two. Go. Here. This boy. I said I would do a live. I didn't say I would be uninterrupted. It's not a belt, Kyrie. That's not how that works.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Like how you put it on.
You can put it on whatever way you want to put it on, love. Whatever way you want to put it on. Okay. So I talked about the vitamins and everything. Okay. But another thing I want to talk about is flavors. And so you ever taste something and like, say it's strawberry flavored? He's asleep. He's asleep. I was not gonna try to do a live with him awake and his dad not here because that would not work out for me or y'all. Cause this live would have lasted 2 minutes before I knocked my phone out my hand.
Nah.
Yeah. What was I saying? I got distracted. I was talking about vitamins in the ingredients labels. Oh, flavors. Okay.
Flavors is a different kind of food.
This is not food though. It's not supposed to be in your food. Okay, so flavors are when they're added to. Okay, you ever tasted anything? I had to regain my train of thought. What made me decide to breastfeed? Oh. Okay, let me remember flavors. Okay, what made me decide to breastfeed? It was free. Like, it's free. And then, so that was the first thing. It's free. Second is, it's natural. That's the way he's supposed to be fed. That's the way he's supposed to be fed. And it's free. And I don't have to go to the store however often that happens. And it's free. And then after I started doing it or whatever, I looked more into I had to because I didn't know anything about it. I was just, when I started breastfeeding Kyrie, because I breastfed him for 2 years. When I started breastfeeding Kyrie, it was rough.
We could see if the App Store has it.
Take that out there. It was rough. He had a bad latch, and I didn't know what I was doing, and the lactation people weren't all that great. Free 99. Yeah, see, before I had Kyrie, I wasn't paying too much attention to ingredients lists, but now that I've looked at the ingredients list and formula, there's like, I don't agree with the ingredients list and formulas. So I'm going to leave it at that. Because I don't want to, because you have to feed your baby. And however you can feed your baby, the baby needs to be fed. But I say that, and I also obviously feel that, well, it's a fact that breast milk is the best thing. But, yeah, I didn't look into formula at all. I was just like, I'm a breastfeed. It's going to be easy. I'm just put the baby on the boob. He's going to fall asleep. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I got hoodwinked. It wasn't easy. And I didn't start doing research into it until it started being a struggle for me. But yeah, it was free. And once I figured out how to do it, it was easier. Once I got a hold of it, I got the hang of it. But it's still like situations that you're not prepared for, like mastitis or your milk supply dropping because you got sick and you didn't drink enough water. But the thing is, at the end of the day, as long as you maintain, generally speaking, if you maintain a good intake and you continuously put the baby on the breast on demand, you should have a good supply, generally speaking. Now, there's an exception to every rule. But okay, I was talking about flavors. Okay, so have you ever tasted something that's like strawberry flavored? Matter of fact, what are those things that we used to eat as kids? Welch's gummies. Because I know they got a bunch of stuff I could talk about in their ingredients list. Okay. All right. So, these fruit snacks, Welch's gummies, they have juice concentrates. So, let's talk about concentrates since that's the first ingredient. Yeah. Hey. Let's talk about concentrates. Concentrates are pretty much cooked down juice. And they say that they do the concentrates and the what's the other way that they name it? It's not concentrate. It's pasteurized. It's still cooking the fruit and making the juice. Thank you. It's still cooking the fruit and making the juice. So the issue with that is you're killing all the nutrients by heating it up when you do that, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So if you're drinking a juice for the nutrients in it and it's been pasteurized or it's concentrate, you might as well not even drink it, because at this point it's just flavor. That's all that's left is flavor. So I mean, there are some vitamins that can withstand heat, but it still kills a lot of the vitamins in it. So that's concentrates and pasteurization, and that goes beyond gummies. That goes to the juices that you see on the juice aisle, like Capri Sun or whatever. Juices that you see that have concentrate and pasteurization, that's not what you want when you get a juice. If you get a juice, you want to get something that's fresh pressed and organic if you can find it. Because the difference between concentrate and fresh pressed is not heated. It's just, it squishes as much of the juice out as it can. And the benefit of that is it retains as much nutrient value as it can versus you just eating it, because obviously that'll be the most nutritious. But I say that, and I can also go back and say that when you consume something in the juice form, it's more bioavailable and ready for, because you're already skipping a process of digestion. First process of digestion is mastication, which is chewing. So when you go and you get a fresh pressed juice, you're bypassing all the fiber and everything that came with that fruit, and you're just getting straight nutrients into your bloodstream or into your stomach that can get into your bloodstream more efficiently because it's already past the first step of digestion. So that is why if you drink juices, you will be full for a little while, but it won't last too long because it's taking a less time to digest, so it's not filling you up as long. And all the things that are in that fruit, like fiber, etc., that help you feel fuller longer. But okay, so that's concentrates and pasteurization. You don't want that. You want fresh pressed juice, and you want fresh pressed juice with nothing in it other than what the juice is supposed to be. That's it. Citric acid, you don't want that. Hey, thanks for joining. How long have I been on? I feel like I'm just ranting. So that's concentrates and pasteurization. You want to stay away from that. Fresh pressed juice is the best way as of date to go. I'm sure they'll come up with another way that maintains nutrient value more efficiently sometime soon.
There are 2 words pronounced like that. V.
What are you trying to spell? We?
I doing it for my game.
I see. That's why I laughed. It's W-E. Okay, so the next ingredient on Welch's Fruit Snacks is a recipe book for babies and toddlers.
How do you spell cup?
That requires me to be so organized.
Hear me? How do you spell cup?
Spell what? Cup. C-U-P.
Huh?
C-U-P.
Yes.
Okay, so the next ingredient on the fruit snacks is corn syrup. Corn syrup is not something you want in your ingredients list. Now, I don't know. Well, I'm sure. Well, I feel like everybody may have heard of GMOs by now. There's a lot of people signing petitions against Monsanto because of GMOs, because they create them and they have a patent and all that on them. GMOs are genetically modified organisms, and they can be modified in a multitude of ways, so I'm not going to even get into that. But it's not natural. They're not natural. It's not a hybridization thing where you cross-pollinated this plant with this plant and you hope that it works. It's something else. It's totally different. It's scientifically done with needles and stuff where they insert this chemical from this plant into this plant to make it not to make it more able to defend itself against pests, etc., etc. But it's not natural, and it's not something that you necessarily want in your food. And the reason why I went off onto GMOs is because corn is one of the biggest GMO crops in the States, which means that this corn in this Welch's fruit snack is most likely GMO. And the thing is, companies nowadays know that being non-GMO is a benefit to them, because people who pay attention to that will buy that over something that doesn't say non-GMO. So if this was non-GMO, it would be labeled as such. So that leads me to say that this has GMOs in it. So corn syrup. So you have fruit concentrates and then corn syrup. So you have what used to be something nutritious. Yeah, corn, soy. What's the other one? I have to look it up again. It's corn, soy, and I want to say... No, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to put out the wrong information. So I'm going to leave it at that. But there's a lot of GMO crops out there. And that's why you see the label non-GMO being thrown around a lot. Wheat, yeah. Yeah, and this is why you want to... Soy is bad too. So this is my thing about soy. Obviously, do you have any tips on how to make eating nutritious and affordable? Yes, I'm gonna go back to that in 1 second. Soy is highly estrogenic, and that is an issue for both women and men, because estrogen is a hormone, and anything you want to stay away from things that influence your hormones, because it can throw you out of balance and create all kinds of issues with your body, and that is dependent upon you and your body, because nobody is the same. Whatever it is could be different for you versus someone else. Soy is known to cause gynecomastia in men, which is a development of breasts, because it's highly estrogenic. And the thing is, men can breastfeed. Men have mammary glands. Men can definitely breastfeed. And both of my boys came out and I could squeeze the milk out of their nipples. Men can lactate. And this is one of those things where you just want to be really careful with the hormones that you introduce into your body, and being that soy is highly estrogenic. I don't think I said that right, but whatever, you get the point. You want to limit or not really use soy. So the thing is, if we use soy, it's fermented. And that's not to say we eat a bunch of tofu, because I don't even eat tofu. But I do use soy sauce. And I'm trying to think if there was something else that I use that has soy in it. The Ezekiel cereal has sprouted soy in it. And the thing about sprouted is it removes a lot of the phytic acid in it, which inhibits your absorption of a lot of minerals and vitamins. But how did you get your babies to like smoothies? My babies hate them. See, that's a hard question for me to answer, because my kids will eat spinach by itself with no hesitation. But I do put like fruit and stuff in it. So I usually put a frozen banana. And I stuff a bunch of greens in there, and I throw some berries or whatever into the smoothie, and they'll drink it. I think I don't give them a lot of stuff with a lot of sugar or really anything other than just like whole foods in general. Like they eat fruits throughout the day, etc., etc. But what was I saying? You make it a bittersweet. Yeah, I do make it a bit sweet with the fruits. No problem. What was the thing that I was supposed to go back to? Nutritious and affordable. Okay. So buy in bulk. Go into the little bulk area, read the ingredients, make sure that it's only that ingredient, especially in bulk. If you get in rice, it should just be rice. There should be nothing else on the ingredients list. And whether it's in bulk or a package, it should just be rice. You should be able to understand what you're reading without having to Google it or have a degree in whatever this is. You shouldn't have to search to find out what's in this food. And if you do, that's a problem. And that's really the whole point of this life. If you have to research what is in your food, you shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't be eating that unless it's just something you just didn't know existed. Like quinoa or something. You didn't know what quinoa was. Okay, cool. It's just quinoa in it, though. It should just be that. Or couscous. It should just be couscous. To make things affordable, we buy in bulk. Since we went vegan, we save like $200 a month because we used to eat organic meat. Now we don't eat meat, and we don't drink milk, and we don't eat cheese. So that brought our bill down by going vegan and buying in bulk and buying a lot of produce. And we eat everything organic. So that's another thing. If you can afford it and it's an option for you, go for organic if you can, because the thing is, even if you do get something that if you get some food that is just whatever it is supposed to be, the likelihood of it being treated with pesticides, if it's not organic, is just commonplace. It's normal. If it's not organic, it's been treated with pesticides. And even some organics have been treated with some pesticides. But it reduces the pesticide load on your body. But yeah, buying in bulk and buying a lot of produce. Staying away from processed foods, because processed foods are more expensive. If I go to the store and I only buy produce and in bulk, I save money just by not buying processed foods. You get charged for the packaging, etc., etc. They mark it up so they can make money. There was something else I was going to say. The word natural is like an epidemic now, because once businesses saw that people like gravitate towards things that say natural, they started putting it on everything. But when you see something like natural flavors, it's still trash. Just because they put natural on it don't make it good. It's still trash. And then artificial flavors, you don't want that either. The thing is, these dyes, like red dye number 40. Let's stop loading. Anyway, these dyes, these flavors, etc., etc., they all affect you in some way or not. When you're done talking about flavors. When I'm done talking about flavors, what? All of these flavors, these dyes, all of this stuff has an effect. It's known as listed side effects. When you look into it, they all have listed side effects. Hi. Come here.
Nope. No, I'm good. I don't need some over
Can
there.
you go put this on my
Dresser.
Thank you. But anyway, they affect, like, mostly you see them affect children the easiest. So when I was watching a friend's baby, she would eat whatever, and it would have, like, I'd look at the ingredients and it'd have a bunch of stuff that I'm talking about in it, and she would be going the whole time she was there. But if she came to my house and she hadn't ate yet and I fed her, she was super chill. Was I going to finish talking about flavors? Oh, yeah. But the difference between when she ate food that had a bunch of unnecessary flavors, colorings, fillers, etc. in it, versus when I fed her whole foods. I gave her fruit. I gave her oats that I actually made from scratch or whatever. It was night and day. The child would be going the whole time, just everywhere. And she was like close to Kyrie's age, and in the meantime, Kyrie's just sitting there looking at her like, okay. But when I fed her, the difference was crazy because she was super chill. She was way more relaxed. She wasn't like jumping around, doing a bunch of stuff. And that naturally is supposed to be active. And so, like, yeah, I noticed the difference between, there was a difference in her activeness. She was like hyperactive versus being chill. And so, that I say all that to say is that these things do affect us. And paying attention to the way our body reacts to these foods is key. It's key. And you need to pay attention to the way your body reacts to every food so you can understand and gain self-autonomy and understand how your body interacts. Because just because someone says that this is the way your body is supposed to react to it doesn't mean that that's how your body reacts to it. Everybody's different. And the whole thing that this applies to, when you set a rule and you say this is how this affects everybody, that's ridiculous. Because nothing does. Nothing ever does. But yeah, so stay away from all that. Just don't use it. Stay away from anything that has flavors, colors, vitamins in the ingredient list, fillers. Stay away from fillers. Do you ever have people not want you to feed their children vegan food? No. See, because the thing is, we start off feeding our kids vegan food. We start off feeding our kids fruit and veggies. That's vegan. And that's a lot of, actually, if you think about it, that's a lot of food you wouldn't eat if you didn't eat vegan. If you took out all the vegan food, what would you have left? Meat, cheese, yogurt. So no, I don't have any issues with people saying they don't want me to feed their kids vegan food. But the question threw me off. I'm sorry. No, I don't have any issues with that. Yeah, stay away from artificial flavors. Stay away from flavors. All of them. You don't want it. If it's not naturally tasting like that.
You poop. Charlie poop.
Y'all, come here, Carrie. Come here, bring me Charlie.
No, I'm bringing his poop.
I don't want his poop. What kind of diaper is this? Okay, so
I smell the poop on him. It's water.
He named his dog Charlie.
And I named the other one Nina.
We don't know any Charlies. I just don't get where he got this name from, but okay. I'm gonna let that go. So you want to stay away from, if it doesn't say in the ingredients list, foods that you naturally understand. If it doesn't say whatever the ingredients list is supposed to be in, it's not something you want. And the thing is, the more you get away from stuff that's processed and has an ingredient list, the better off you'll be. Staying away from processed foods. Hey, thanks for joining. Staying away from processed foods is what you want to aim for. But naturally, it's easier to eat some processed foods. So I don't even have, like, we have tomato sauce. I just don't feel like making tomato sauce. But I found organic tomato sauce that has nothing but what is supposed to be in tomato sauce. Matter of fact, let me see. I'm going to do a little comparison for y'all. I got time. Because they put a lot of stuff. Oh, this isn't ingredients, but canned food is also an issue because it's aluminum. And the thing is, your food absorbs the aluminum, right? So you consume the aluminum. And the thing is, high rates of aluminum lead to cancer. So like deodorant has aluminum in it. Like Dove deodorant. It's I think it's labeled as antiperspirant. I have to look back and remember. But deodorant, regular deodorant at the store has aluminum in it. And you're putting it under your arm, which the aluminum gets dumped into your breast or your lymph nodes right here. And that can cause lumps, which can cause cancer. So anyway, I'm going back. I started talking about a bunch of other stuff. Stay away from aluminum. Stay away from canned food, because aluminum is not easily detoxed from your body. It's not something that you want to consume a bunch of. What was I doing? Tomato sauce. I feel like I'm ranting. I'm gonna have to end this soon because now I done went off topic. Lime works good for deodorant. Yeah. The best kinds of vegan foods to feed toddlers. Just the food itself. My kids snack on fruits and vegetables all day. I don't do anything special to it because I don't want them to feel like something special has to be done to it. I want them to appreciate it for the way it is naturally. And I'll do something different with for dinner, but stop it. But I give them fruits and vegetables throughout the day. I make my deodorant with baking soda, coconut oil, and tapioca starch. Tapioca starch. And coconut oil. And it works great. And the reason I started talking about aluminum is because that's something that happened to my mother. She was using regular deodorant and it caused a buildup and it caused a mass, and she ended up having to go to the doctor for it or whatever, and the doctor told her to stop using regular deodorant. It had aluminum and it caused breast cancer. But aluminum can cause all kinds of other things as well. Aluminum, it assists in what is it? Parkinson's. What kind of disease is Parkinson's? I'm trying to remember what it's labeled as.
Mom was a baby.
Hmm?
When I was a baby.
When you was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it assists in a lot of things that have to do with the brain.
Tell me.
Because it can cause buildup. Tell you what?
When I was a baby.
Neurodegenerative. Thank you. It assists in a lot of neurodegenerative diseases because it causes buildup. And it's not supposed to be there, and it's not easy for your body to detox it.
Please.
What?
Tell me when I was a baby.
Tell you about what when you was a baby?
Like what day?
You know what day you was born.
No, it wasn't.
You do. So stay away from aluminum. You want to try to get glass. And I know everything is not available in glass. Stop.
I was hungry.
But it is possible to avoid getting everything cans. There's a lot of companies that are selling a lot of stuff in glass nowadays. Ingredients list. Did I talk about everything in Welch's? I think I dipped on that. I feel like I've gotten sidetracked, so I'm going to go ahead and end this with, when you go to the store and you look at an ingredients list, if you don't understand, we're talking about ingredients. Hey, we're talking about ingredients. Welch's is not, like, I can't even consider it food. Don't make me open it back up and start finish going through the ingredients, because it's really, like, I don't even understand. Welch's is. And the thing is, it's a lot of stuff out there like that's trash. It shouldn't be considered food. And it isn't. It isn't in other countries. It isn't. It's banned. A lot of the stuff is banned in other countries, but it's allowed. It's legal, and they sell it, and we eat it. Ingredients list. But yeah, we was talking about ingredients and how when you look at an ingredients list, you want to stay. First of all, if it's like 2 paragraphs long, just put it back. Just put it back. Because we just went on lunch and saw you were live. I'm so sad. I'm going to leave it up. That sucks because I want everybody to be able to watch this, but I know it's not going to be easy for everybody to see it. But when you would look at an ingredients list, if it's more than a paragraph, that's already an issue. Stuff that here lasts way longer than back home because of all the bad stuff in there. Yeah. A lot of it is preservatives so they can extend the shelf life so they can continue to make, like, because if the food goes bad, they lose out on money, right? So they put a bunch of preservatives in it to maintain it so they can make more profit. And it's all a business. All of it is a business. Everything is about profit, and that's why they get away with it. But we're not going to go into that because that's a fact, and we already know that. But, okay. We talked about flavors. We talked about, oh, they put coconut oil in it. Oh, look at that. We talked about flavors. This has absorbic acid in it. In quotations, vitamin C. Preservatives was the word I didn't have. Kyrie, take that out there. I can't hear.
I'll try to.
Okay. But the vitamin C, absorbic acid. If that's in the ingredients list, it's not real vitamin C. You want real vitamin C? Eat some oranges. Eat some grapefruit. Eat something that's a naturally occurring source of vitamin C. You don't want that listed as in the ingredients because it's not going to be readily absorbed by your body. It may cause a reaction for you. And the thing is, if we were like the way, like I ate Welch's as a child. I wasn't brought up vegan and organic. I ate a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about right now. But I ate it so young that I didn't even know that it was affecting me because I had been used to it, whatever it was. Stop. You're making too much noise. You can go in the lounge and play. But I ate a lot of this stuff, so I didn't recognize any of the effects of it for me because this is where it was normal for me. It was my norm. But when you start to stop eating it, you recognize the difference. You recognize, like, when I started changing my diet and everything, I recognized the difference in my energy levels. I recognized the difference in my skin. I recognized the difference in my entire, like, well-being was altered by changing the way that I ate, paying attention to the ingredients labels and everything, and removing everything that didn't belong in my diet and wasn't really food at all. But okay, so that again, vitamins in the ingredients list, they shouldn't be there. It's synthetic. It's not that's not necessarily even bioavailable for your body because it's synthetic. Your body wasn't meant to absorb it and utilize it the way it should be because it's not supposed to be there because it was added. Now, in the nutrition facts, cool. That's fine. Vitamins, you can see the percentage of how much vitamin is in it from the nutrition facts. Cool. In the ingredients list, it's a no. Don't stay away from that. That's not healthy. It's not doing you no good. You think that you're getting what you need as a vitamin, especially in vegan foods, when they were like, oh, it's high in this vitamin, it's high in this vitamin. If it's in the ingredients list, it's not naturally occurring and it's not naturally bioavailable, which means you won't absorb it the way you need to and you won't utilize it the way you need to, and it may be toxic to you, depending on what it is. So, the next thing that's on this list is still more vitamins. And then it has coconut oil. Okay, cool. Then it has wax. Why are we eating wax?
Why? Yes, me too.
I'm gonna skip that because that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about these dyes. These dyes are trash. These color dyes, red dye 40, yellow dye 5, blue dye number 1. A lot of these dyes are known to cause cancer. And we wonder why, or are trying to figure out why cancer is so rampant now. It's because a lot of the ingredients that are allowed into our foods and allowed to be called foods, they cause cancer. I'm a baby vegan. Being this is all new to me and my family. I'm glad I have beauties like you to help educate and support. Thank you. We're learning. Thank you. I appreciate that. And congrats on transitioning, because in my opinion, it does help you be more healthy and more conscious of your health by paying attention to that. But every time I read a comment, I get thrown off of what I was saying. Dyes. A lot of these dyes are known to cause cancer, are not necessary. And the thing is, if they really wanted to add color to it, they could do it in a natural way. They could add turmeric to it. They could add beet juice to it. They could add blueberry juice to it. Those are natural dyes that you could use to make something colorful, because people like color. But these chemical dyes, these red dyes with the numbers at the end of them, that is not what you want to consume. It all has a side effect. All of it. And it's not the point that they're just trying to make money. So if they make it more visually appealing with these dyes, then your kids might be more attracted to it. Like, oh, I want this because it's colorful. But it's not healthy. It's not food. Oncology nurse in the chemo room. They have free cookies and candy. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. They have free candies and cookies in the room for the chemo patients. Okay, so they likely have, especially the candies, they likely have these dyes in them that I'm talking about that cause cancer. Stay away from foods that, like, I could have just made this life super short and simple. That's trash. That's trash. I don't know your real name, but Afro Vegan Mama, that's trash. To put, Kyrie, don't hit that. To put McDonald's in there, because that's not food. I used to work at McDonald's. It's not food. It's not. Period. It's not food. And that's the issue. Stop. Back up. Back up, because you hit the stick. One of them. Thank you. But yeah, that's trash that they.
Oh no.
That's a long rant I would end up going into if I started talking about that. And I'm not trying to rant. I'm trying to stay on topic. Children's hospitals have Subways and candy shops. It's in the NICU. They had it for
Stay away.
parents and families to stay there. You would think they do know better. They do know better. They don't care. I mean, they clearly don't. Like, you clearly can't possibly care. It's all about money. It's all about being a hospital is a business. Insurance companies are businesses. Subway is a business. They're doing one thing and one thing very well, making money. Everything else is out the window. They don't care about your health. And they don't care for you to be educated either. They don't care for you to understand that these ingredients in their foods don't belong there. It's cost effective and nothing else. Exactly. It's a business. And the thing is, when you start going and you buying more in bulk and produce, you go to the farmers markets, you buy directly from the farmers, which I would love to do, but we don't have a lot of organic farmers here. You cut out that middleman. You cut out a lot of these businesses, and that's not what they want you to do. That's why you don't see a bunch of commercials. Oh, it's a time limit on lives, y'all. I didn't know that. Got 30s. I got 20 seconds. I don't know if I'm gonna go back live after this, but okay. So the point is, if you don't understand what's in the ingredients labels, it's not a regular food. Don't get it. Put it back. Find something else. It's cutting me off, y'all.